I would now like to call Uthuto Masasa, who would actually present the findings of the research together with her team. Thank you, Thuto.
Thank you, Program Director. Wow, Lee, thank you so much for those insights. I feel like I should have really been scrabbling and taking notes, but I wasn't prepared for such a great tips and insights. And I'm actually quite delighted as well because the message that I'm going to be actually sharing, or the results that I'm going to be sharing with you this afternoon, it's quite a good build-up from what Lee has already told you. There's good traction that we're seeing from public sector. Okay. So pretty much for the next 20 to 30 minutes, if you can lend me your ears, I'll go through the purpose of the research. I'll go through the panel that basically helped in researching the integrated reports. I'll go through the research methodologies that were used. I'll go through the research results and finally conclude. In terms of the purpose, really our purpose of performing this research was to gain insights into integrated reporting trends amongst the state-owned companies in South Africa. And in fact, to share those insights with you to continuously improve yourself. And I think the program director has already alluded to the fact that the main goal is really to assist in making sure you get to the best that we already are, as Lee has already really patted us on the shoulder. Okay, the panel was basically made up of 4 lecturers from Monash, South Africa. And it was actually a dynamic team made up of diverse lecturers led by Professor Anton de Toy. I don't know if is he somewhere, Professor? Oh, Professor is sitting right at the back. Professor Anton basically has been in the profession as a professor for the past 20 years. He's a director of accounting at Monash, South Africa, and he's also a corporate governance expert and a director of many companies. Blanche Steyn, is Blanche here? At the back as well. Okay, hi, Blanche. Blanche is also a lecturer at Monash, as I've alluded. She is basically a senior lecturer in accounting, particularly focusing in accounting research and governance. Adrian Pillay? I think we've contested this name where he says a number of people actually call him Pillay and they expect to see an Indian guy, a white guy turns up. Adrian has been as well with Monash for the past 11 years in the area of taxation and finance accounting, and he's led quite a successful career in commerce and industry, for the past 15 years. And the last person who's on the panel is, in fact, the youngest member of the panel, Rufaro Gweshe. You can just wave so people can see you. She's also a lawyer, and she has been lecturing since 2008, and she's been lecturing business law for the past 3 years. Okay, in terms of the research methodologies, we selected the PFMA Schedule 2 state-owned entities with a total asset base of 1 trillion. Again, alluding to what Lee has said, public sector does contribute globally about 40% to the GDP, and with a revenue more than 256 billion. 20 integrated reports were selected for the year ending 31st March 2013. The grading process, basically the panel used a grading sheet where basically the weightings were split between the King report, the King 3 report, as well as the integrated reporting discussion paper. And we got 2 independent the evaluators to start with the companies, and then 2 umpires would then basically relook at the scoring. Okay. With regards to the weightings, Of the 8 chapters of, you'll see, of the 8 chapters of King Report, 80 marks were allocated, and then the last 2 sections, which is sustainability reporting and disclosure, as well as the framework for integrated reporting, were allocated 70 marks. And as Lee again has said, it is going to be very relevant, the last section, the framework for integrated reporting, with the framework being actually finalized in December 2013. Right, with the highlights, again, it really is a great platform to have stood up here and at least got an independent person to upload you guys. We started in 2011 when we started awarding the SOCs on their integrated reports, hoping that we'll have 10 finalists as the finalists, like any other competition you would imagine. And much to our disappointment, we only had 3 that qualified, actually. However, we built up to 7 in 2012, which more than doubled. And this year, ladies and gentlemen, the qualifying finalist has increased to a number of 10. So that deserves a round of applause. And again, we can just go back with the scoring. The overall scoring, in 2011, we started at 40.2%. It moved in 2012 to 46.4%. And this year, you have just made it above 50%. And again, I think you deserve a round of applause. Lee also spoke about the conciseness of your reports. Last year, we saw the lengthiest report with 418 pages. This year, the lengthiest report was only 276, so there is traction in that regard too. Okay, I'll go straight into the results. For the sake of those people perhaps that can't see this far, the blue bar is the 2013 results, the orange bar is for the 2012, and the green will be 2011. And in my results, I'll also make reference to the top 100 JSE listed companies. And that's because Nkonki, again, does do research on the top 100 JSE listed companies, and we've been doing so for the past 4 years. Okay, I'll start with the first section under ethical leadership and corporate citizenship. The average score there has increased this year to 60%, gaining traction by 14%. So it's quite an achievement. We're seeing an upward trend. And we can see the companies that scored below D rating there has come down from 11 entities that were below D rating, coming down to 4 entities, which is quite good work on your part. And we see that they've increased now from 1 entity, which was in the A rating, achieving A rating last year, up to 5 in the current years, in the 2013 results. So you are really doing well. And in comparison to the top 100 JSE listed entities, we saw 14% of the companies scoring below D rating, in comparison to currently of your 20%. So still catching up there. And then in the A rating, 48% of the companies scored in the A rating compared to your current 25%. But there's definitely good work. Okay, the boards and directors section, I don't particularly have very good news in this section. The average score is below 50% at 48%, gaining just about 2% traction from last year. However, it is encouraging to see that there's a slight move from the companies that scored below D rating in the 2013 results. Nonetheless, a little bit disappointing as we don't have anybody in the A rating. We did have 1 company last year, but this year there is nobody who has scored in the A rating. And if you compare that to the top 100 JSE listed companies, in fact, they only had 7% of the companies that were below D rating, and they had about 43% with the companies that were above or at least achieved an A rating. So I think there's a couple of maybe quick wins that you can take away with some of the things that the panel did observe was the independence of the board members and determination of thereof not appropriately disclosed, bonus measurement and link to performance also not appropriately disclosed, as well as the board's effectiveness is not that well disclosed. So I think really the key message here is, I think the infrastructure is there for yourselves, but it's now the actual disclosure itself. Okay, audit committee, we're back on track again. We see scoring above 50% there. The overall score is 60%. However, the companies that are still below D rating haven't moved since last year, still 9 companies there, but we're seeing a move in the above A rating companies. But with that, in comparison to the top 100 JSE listed companies, only 4% was really in the below D rating, with them achieving 58% compared to the SOC's 47% of the entities that scored above A rating.